Evening all. I'm cutting that short because there's something wrong with our audio. It's burning out there tonight for some reason. What's going on? It's way too loud and I can't work out why. Let me quickly, I'm going to turn the organ off for a second and see if I can work out what's going on. Good evening, by the way. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday night is organ music night. Okay, the vocal is fine. Hold on, this thing should actually be charged after the weekend. Yes, it is. Let me quickly pop this on so I can read what's going on in the chat. Keep me posted in the chat, please, about sound levels. This should be fine. But why is the organ so bloody loud? Nothing is different. Everything is the way it usually is. Just goes to show you either don't leave the studio or you have a million different things. I actually have two ATEM devices, but for Friday I thought I'm going to take the big one with me because it gives me more flexibility, which it did. No, you don't need to reboot the system. Yeah, this is weird. Why is the organ so loud? This makes no sense, boys and girls. Absolutely no sense whatsoever. Okay. Theoretically, the audio here in the studio wasn't touched, so there should be no difference to it at all. Let me just double check there's nothing different happening here. All right, did that change anything? That didn't change anything. Okay. This is weird, babies. This is weird. Now, I do have a limiter on there. Okay, the limiter is doing what it should be doing. Bear with me a second. Now, you can't hear this because I've got this off at the moment. Full organ. That's weird. It looks like it's... Hold on. All right, let's try that. Hold on. I'm going to play, warning, full organ coming up, very loud, okay? Is this any better? Was that any different? Okay, what does yes mean? That's good, says Stephen. Yes, okay. It is perfect, not really loud. Seems good, yes. Okay, that seems much better. That's good. So far, that was better. All right, big chord. That's too much. Maybe there's something changed here, which is highly unlikely. Just trim that down a little bit. That crackled again, didn't it? That crackled again, but that was crackling within Hauptwerk because I'm hearing it in my headphones. So that's okay. So we're on the upper limit there, but let's leave it at that for now. Let's leave it at that. Why does this happen? I think the system was unhappy that I unplugged everything and left to go to a real organ for the for the Friday night stream. It got annoyed. And when we came back tonight and set everything up, nothing is different. I promise you, absolutely nothing is different. That's not true. The camera's in a slightly different position. The top of my head's almost cut off there. But that's about it. That's about it. Weird, eh? What's all that about? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Let's have some music, just to make sure this is all working. We're in Annaberg tonight, the beautiful the beautiful Eastern German town with its beautiful Walker stroke Euler organ, one of the best sample sets of the world. If not the best sample set in the world. It's overly wonderful. And it can do everything. It doesn't just do hymns, it does jazzy stuff as well. By the way, my Stream Deck thing still isn't working. The Raspberry Pi is completely corrupted, so I have to go in there and reformat that. Don't know how that worked, but it looks like it's completely corrupted. So I have to go in and play around with that. This organ doesn't just do hymns, it does this as well. everybody loves my baby. Or every baby loves my body. That's better now, isn't it? Are we better? Are we better in the old excuse me, are we better in the volume departments now? I have no idea what happened there. Nothing has changed. I'm going to have to go and dig around with that in the coming days and find out what on earth was going on. Tonight is going to be a very interesting, different kind of evening. We're going to play lots of music, obviously, but we're also going to have a chat about Friday. How many of you were not there on Friday? In the chat there, how many of you were not there on Friday? And tell me why in the chat you weren't there on Friday. Naughty, naughty of you not being there. Friday was our first live stream somewhere else. And it was an absolutely magical experience up in Kevelaer at the enormous Seifert organ. And once we got going, everything worked absolutely fine. But my goodness me, it was again, the software just refused to do what it was supposed to do. And that's funny because the software was the problem on Friday, and tonight it would be the hardware. So go figure. Go figure. If only I knew how these things really did work. One of these days, I might actually be able to figure it out. Wouldn't that be cute? Right, let me just quickly make sure we've got everything off here that we don't need. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, here's a very different piece of music, and let's see what we can do with this. Oh, but I still have to do this here, don't I? That's a cute little tune, isn't it? It's, I think it's French. I think it's originally French. Number 400 in the hymn book. Very cute sort of melody. I like it a lot. Doesn't do too much. It's fairly inoffensive. Now, I see in the old chit-chat there tonight, we have a birthday. Is it true? Mr. G, is it your birthday today? Let me have a look. Has there been an email about it? I'm not sure there has been, but let's have a look. What's been happening here? What's been happening here? Oh, there's no email about it. Mr. G, is it actually your birthday tonight? I hope so. Is it? If it is, then we have to do a happy birthday. And I think we're going to have to do a happy birthday on almost full organ. And then building all the way up to complete full organ for that. Happy birthday then to Lucian. It's Lucian Goodson's birthday, apparently. He hasn't said anything there. Well, the cat's out of the bag. Well, there you are, it is. We won't ask how old you are. What we'll do is I'll say you're older than me, but you're younger than Karl Kepner. How about that? Let's do that. Sing happy birthday, everybody, to Lucian. Lucian Goodson. He's the cat in the hat from Texas. We have to get that in as well. Happy birthday, Mr. G. Happy birthday, Mr. G. I'll sing at your wedding. That's the best I can offer. No, we don't need any of that. Were there any numbers there to go on? I don't think there were any numbers there. Splendid, splendid, splendid. Happy birthday, my good friend. I didn't receive a request from you, so I can't therefore then chip in and do anything exciting, but I do have, I think, is it in here? Yes, there it is in here. We do have another birthday request. We'll do that later on this evening and make sure everyone is here. It was somebody's birthday on Friday, but because we were we were taken up with other things on Friday night, unfortunately I couldn't squeeze it in. But we'll get it in tonight. Right, is everything actually working here? I'm confused. Things are confusing me tonight. Yes. Work it out. We will work it out. Right, we'll say hello to everyone in the chat in just a moment. But before we do that, I'm going to open this book at random up at the back here. And we're going to play a happy hymn. When I say random, I mean I'm going to open it up at a certain random number that I think should be, it's going to be round about, I think it's going to be round about here, I think. Yes, there it is. Very random, but that's half the fun of what we're doing here. This is a piece of music that I played in Herschbach last night in the church. We had a wonderful service last night. It was one of those services where after the service everyone went out and had a drink. They put up some beer benches and tables, and most of the folks from the congregation hung around and had a drinky poo after the service last night, and it was very nice. And to get people in the mood, the priest and I, we decided that we had to have some pretty sort of upbeat and modern singy tunes, and this was the one that we finished the service with, number 885 at the back of the Limburg book. It's one of the hymns to Mary, but it's a rather nice, it's a sort of a, it's one of those, you know, if you're in a beer hall and you were all sort of waltzing away with each other, schunkeling about, as they say in Germany, with your beer. It was one of those things. It sounds something like this. Isn't that a cute tune? And that's pretty much the way I played it yesterday in the service, just to really make sure people were going for it. I think it's lovely. By the way, if you're ever playing a church organ and you want to test its winding abilities, now this is obviously a digital version, but what you do is instead of playing the that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's like a what do you call it? Like one of those organ grinder things. It's great practice for when you have Parkinson's later in life. My old anecdote about Mr. Acker-Bilk, my old friend Acker-Bilk, when we used to play together, later in life he had a bit of the old parky poos, as he called it himself. And he says, it's great, I don't need to think about my vibrato anymore, I just hold the clarinet and it vibrates for me. Turn negativity into positivity, that's the way to do it. Now this organ, in Annaberg, with its magnificence, it's equipped with something called a... Oh, hold on, do I have my... I don't have the screen wired up. I forgot to wire up the screen. All right, do that for next time. It has... you can't see it on my screen. No, of course you can't. It has a crescendo pedal, and what that means is if I have no stops on, I don't even have to touch all my pistons are hidden down here, but you don't have to see that. I don't touch anything. I can just open this pedal and it will add stops for me all the way up to full organ. Very clever. All right, it will do it all the way up to full organ. Just make sure everything's coupled together. And that's very handy for this kind of thing. Vanessa's favourite hymn, that one. That is the wonderful hymn called Mein Gott, wie schön ist deine Welt. My Lord, or how beautiful is thy world, my Lord. Something like that. And or in other words, what a wonderful world. It's a beautiful hymn, and I was playing around with it recently during a communion in one of my services, and I realized that you can hide that melody in there as well. I don't know if you could hear it while I was doing all the big stuff. I was doing lots of big loud chords there, but you can hide little bits in there in that rhythm, and it just works. So you change it from a 3/4 time into a 3/9. Sorry, a 3/9. A 9. What's the word I'm looking for? A 9/8. That's the word I'm looking for. God, I'm so tired. You take it from a 3/4 and turn it into a 9/8 time. That's what I'm trying to say. And you can add all those beautiful little things in there, and it just works. It just works. Lucian loves this organ. I hope you treated yourself to it as part of your birthday package, my friend. It's a wonderful instrument. It's truly amazing. It's also the most realistic feeling sample set. Feelings. No, it's the most realistic feeling sample set I know. There's something about playing it that just feels like a natural organ. Right, now, Friday night, we were out and about. We were out in Kevelaer, 2 hours north of here, or if you drive really fast, an hour and a half. Don't ask me how I know that, but it's almost exactly 200 kilometers, and you have to get round Cologne and Düsseldorf to get there, so there's usually a lot of traffic. But if you know your way around, you can scoot past most of that traffic and bomb it for part of the way. So yes, when we came back, we actually came back very late Friday night afterwards. We were supposed to stay over. We had a hotel booked and everything, which is, we still have to pay the bill. We actually got in the car after I packed everything up after the concert was done. Thank you to Paul and to Heiko, who helped me pack everything up and get it in the car. I went and picked up Vanessa and the little one from the hotel, and we left the hotel at about, well, by the time we had everything packed and ready, I think we left about 11:30. Left, put home address in the sat-nav, and it said we would be home at 1:30. So I thought, fine, we'll take our time. And then I thought, no, we won't take our time. The roads are empty. They're mainly de-restricted autobahn on the way home, so I thought, let's just boot it. So we made it home at 1 minute to 1. So yeah, we got home half an hour earlier than we should have done. So you can do the rest, you can do the maths and work it all out. We were flying. Thankfully, fuel prices have dropped again, at least a little bit. I filled up the car the other day, the first time in a couple of months, under 100 euros. So that was that. But no, we came back. We were going to stay over, but the annoying thing is we forgot some things we needed for the little one. When I say we, that's Vanessa. She packed all the stuff for the little one, and a few things were missing. So we kind of had to come home. That was the annoying thing. But it was actually quite good because it meant we could have a bit of a lie-in on Saturday and still get everything done on Saturday that we needed to do. If we had a lie-in in Kevelaer, we'd have been home in the afternoon and would have missed out. So there we are. So it all worked out well in the end. Now then. Friday night. Oh my goodness me, what an amazing experience. First of all the day on Friday. We arrived in Kevelaer about 2 o'clock. Later than expected. Again, traffic on the way up was pretty grotty. But we arrived at the church, and Paul, the organist there, met us at the gate and immediately showed me around the church, and we got going. I couldn't do anything at the organ before 3 o'clock. There was a little service at 3 o'clock. Paul played for that. I sat beside him at the organ, and it was wonderful just to hear the organ in the space. I've heard recordings of it many times. It was great to hear it. And also you get some ideas. I was watching what he was doing registration-wise, and you get some ideas of what you might like to do yourself. And of course the acoustic. There was a big organ on the West End. There's a sort of auxiliary echoey work or division at the at the choir end, and there's even a tiny little dedicated choir organ sitting underneath that. So there are actually 3 instruments all in one, basically, all totaling about 150 stops, which is quite a lot by any stretch of anyone's imagination. Wonderful, wonderful instrument. So anyway, so once that was over, I got to get going at the organ and set up some registrations, and so on and so on and so on. And oh my goodness me, what an experience! If you haven't watched the Friday night stream, please do. Sadly, it was a lot shorter than we'd hoped it was going to be, quite simply because although everything was tested and everything worked perfectly in the afternoon, when we set everything back up again in the evening and pressed start or pressed stream, I wasn't using my hardware streamer because my mobile phone wouldn't tether to it properly for some stupid reason. So I was forced to use OBS software. Now, admittedly, I am using OBS software right now, but it's only, OBS software is only doing, let me show you what OBS software is doing. OBS software is only doing that. That's all OBS software is doing at the moment. It's just transitioning that, and I better put it on quickly because Dominic has just chipped in. Thank you very much, Dominic. OBS is only taking care of that at the moment, which is fine for now. But on Friday night I had to do everything through OBS, so all my the hardware streamer that I normally use was sending one signal to the computer here, and the computer via my mobile phone was streaming it at 5G mega speeds through OBS, and for some reason it wouldn't pick up the audio. It picked up the video absolutely fine, but it wasn't picking up the audio, and that took us ages to work out what was going on. I still cannot recreate the problem. When we got home yesterday, I immediately fired everything back up, and lo and behold, it worked perfectly. So I don't know what it was. I honestly don't know what it was. Something just decided to say, nah, I'm not going to help you. And it completely buggered everything up for about half an hour. So we were about half an hour late starting, which meant we only really had a good hour to play rather than the hour and a half I wanted to play. But nonetheless, it was, I hope you all got a good impression of the organ. And most importantly, it was a great start to the outdoor streams. Now, there are other ways of doing outdoor streams, hardware only, and I'm looking into that at the moment. More on that in the future. But the more important thing is it worked, it sounded okay, it looked okay. It wasn't perfect, lighting was not ideal. Even with the support lights, it still wasn't ideal. That's just something we need to work on for the future. But it got us out and about, and we had a huge crowd on Friday night, which was really good. Is there anyone here tonight who was there on Friday for the first time and has come back tonight? This is great. This would be great to know if there are some people there. And again, those of you who weren't there on Friday, why weren't you there on Friday? Let's go and have a look through the chit chat and see who's here tonight. It was a really good chat on Friday night. Lots of people. I didn't read a word of it, by the way, because I was concentrating on everything else around me. But I hear from people who were in the chat. There was a lot of people there, a lot of new people there, and actually a lot of new people in the box office. We'll come to that in a moment. So thank you so much for everyone who was there on Friday night and everyone who chipped in on Friday night. Let's go and say hello to a few folks here this evening. Jez is here. Hi, Jez. Ian Lavery is here. Uza is here. Mike is here. Opus is here. Lucian, the birthday boy, is here. Roy H is here. Hi, Roy. Marcus is here. Robert is here. Gerhard is here. Hi, Gerhard. Johannes is here. Cam is here. Hello, Cam. Brother Cam. Martin is here. Moin. Per is here. Wonderful. Steffi's here. Hello, Steffi. Lovely to see you here. How's your dad? Is he feeling better? I think he's getting home tomorrow, isn't he? Fingers crossed that all works. Thesaurus Rex is here. Julian GC is here. Here we go. Mr. Meders AR is here. Mr. Meders ER is here. Joe is here. Hi, Joe. Jeff is here. That's R. Trevithick. There's Jeff. Gerrit is here. Hi, Gerrit. How are you doing? Art Fisher is here. Hello, Art Fisher. Righty-ho. There's Max Huber. Did I say Max already? I think we said hi to Max already, but there he is again. Dusty Miller is here. Hello, Dusty. How are you doing? Jeff Ford is here. Hello, Jeff. With all the problems, I very nearly gave up on Friday. Just as I was thinking of doing something else, you got going. Phew. Listened on headphones. Great experience. More, please. Yes, more planned. More coming up. And, of course, a return trip to Kevelaer is pretty much in the plans already, so we can go and get things done properly again. Even better quality next time. Don't worry, Jeff. We will be there again. Right, who else is here? Have I said hello? French Horn is here. Hello, French Horn. Heiko, my friend. French Horn was there on Friday night helping out. Thank God he was there. Well done. Who else is here? František is here. Good evening to Trebic. I hope you are doing well, my friend. Who else be here? Who else be here tonight? Right. Dominic is here. Good evening, Dominic. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. All right. Anyone else? Matthias Goldman has arrived. Hi, Matthias. Haven't seen you for a while. User IL2DP7DWSE is here. Good evening, user. We'll just call you user. Who's the user, I wonder? Lovely that you are here. Who else is here? Who else is here? Doesn't work if you can't hear it. Was Vanessa driving? No, Vanessa was in the back looking after the little one. And I was booting it. Pago is here. Hello. That's nice that you are here. Yellowbird is here. Hi, Yellowbird. Julian Cleek is here. Watched on catch up. Really enjoyed it. That's good to hear. Sandra is here. Hi, Sandra. Robotic Crafter is here. As is David Ross. Hello. Wonderful, wonderful. Right, who else is here? Fine. We're pretty much catching up on all the names here, I think. We are pretty much catching up. Ian Walker. I think we mentioned Ian Walker. Xing Shang Chong is here. Splendid, splendid. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Right, there we are. There's over 90 of you there already now. That's really rather good. Over in the box office, as Piotr just immediately gets in there, we have a few folks. Let's have a look who's here tonight. Mike got the ball rolling on Buy Me a Coffee earlier today. Thank you, Mike. And then Alexander got going on the PayPals, along with Stefan, Ian, the Platts Gang, Jeff, Martin, Lucian, Karen, Dominic and Piotr there as well. So thank you very, very much to all of you so far who have been chipping in. That's very kind of you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, let's continue with the show. I put out a community post earlier today asking if anyone had any questions for me about Friday night. And nobody has replied. So nobody has replied. Now, earlier on I mentioned we had another birthday boy tonight, and let's play something for the other birthday boy tonight, John P. And I just see John P has popped up in the chat. And it was John P's request, on his birthday actually, on Friday. Is that right? Yes, it was his birthday on Friday. Is that right, John? It was. And let's quickly sing a happy birthday to John. And then John sent in a request. Hold on. How do I turn this off again? I press this and then that. about cha-cha-cha at the end of that. Happy birthday, John. Belated happy birthday. And John's request is a piece of music it's quite difficult to read because he sent me a preview copy for promotion use only, not for performance. Psh, don't tell anyone. It's a rather lovely piece of music called The Gift of Love. Sounds like it should be by Huey Lewis, doesn't it? But no, The Gift of Love it's called. And let's see what we can get it to do. I think it starts relatively sort of medium. We need to turn off some of these couplers here. That's better. That's good. It's in A major, which is my second least favorite key, but don't worry, John, for you. Though I may speak with bravest fire, and have the gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain, as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Oh, yeah, it's all that kind of stuff. Rather nice indeed. This is a piece of music from 1972, written by Hal Hobson. Well, actually arranged by Hal Hobson. It's an American folk tune. So let's see if we recognize it. See if I recognize it. The Gift of Love. A nice tune. Thank you very much, John. A nice one to suggest. I will admit, slightly difficult to read with all the promotional use stamps all over it, but I think that was roughly the melody and the arrangement there. But yes, thank you very much indeed for sending that, and I hope you had on Friday a wonderful birthday. We couldn't include that on Friday because there was too much other stuff going on to concentrate on things like that on Friday, but yes, a lovely piece of music, so thank you, and I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Cute tune, thank you. Right, now then, something I didn't play on Friday but wanted to is one of the most famous hymns to Mary, and it's one of those belters, as it were. Good expression there for a hymn like that, a good old belter. When I was there, like I said, there was this little sort of service in the afternoon and Paul was playing the organ for it, and for those who don't know, Kevelaer, this place up in the northwest of Germany, there, very close to the Dutch border, it's an international pilgrimage site. It's an amazing place. The whole operation there is amazing. The choreography that goes on in that place is also unbelievable. Just to get everything working. They've got people visiting the church every day once the pilgrimage season starts. And there was a little group there that day for this little service. And Paul was playing the music for it, and there's a sort of a set number of services with a set number of things. And of course, you're going to repeat yourself. There's about 50 different services a week during the pilgrimage season. 50 services a week, can you believe that? And of course, you end up playing pretty much the same stuff all the time if you're one of the organists. It never gets boring, Paul says, but you have to sort of change things around a bit, yeah? So you change the way you harmonize things, you put in little sneaky little things to excite the audience and keep yourself sane. But one of the pieces he didn't play, and I was kind of hoping he would, and I wanted to play it myself, but we just didn't have the time, is this one. It's one of my favorite Mary hymns that are in the book, and it's, when the audience or when the congregation, it really gets going, they certainly know how to sing this one. It's great fun indeed. Something reminding you of country gardens. I think I know what you mean. Da da dum 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 dee dee dim. It's the rhythm. It's the rhythm. Now, somebody asked me a question. Somebody did ask me a question. Ask me your question. Oh, what was it? Bridgekeeper. That was the one. What's your favourite stop at the Kevelaer organ? Who asked me that? Matthias Goldman asked me that. That's a very good question. My favourite stop on the organ. That's a difficult one. There were 150 stops, and what was my favourite one? I think, to be honest, my favourite one was the celesta, the celesta on the fourth manual. Literally, a percussion instrument, bells, dum 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 dum, a proper little celeste. But let's say my proper organ stop. What was my favourite organ stop? Certainly none of the loud stuff. I don't think any particular stop, because the thing is, when you've got an organ of that size, it's not about the individual stops, it's about the colours you create with all of those stops. And I think the strings on the organ, every division, with the exception of the grate, the way the organ was set up, you have a third manual is your swell. The second manual is, well, they're not called swell, positive, grate. It's called third manual, second manual, first manual, that kind of thing. But the third manual was the swell, so everything was in a swell box. Second manual is normally sort of a smaller version of the first manual, but it's kind of weird in Kevelaer. Some of the stops in the second manual are louder than their equivalents on the first manual. It's really rather interesting. But the third and second manual had beautiful strings, and the fourth manual, which is dedicated to the echo organ at the far end of the church, if you are at the back where the main organ is, it also has some beautiful strings. So I think all the strings of the organ sort of together, and then on the second manual there's basically the third manual is a big string chorus. And all of that together was just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sound. And actually the best stop on the entire organ is the room it's in, the acoustic, because it was a very special acoustic. I still can't get my head round the way the acoustic worked. Normally in a big church like that, imagine this is the organ, and pipes are sort of, facing that way into the church, or speaking into the church that way. Normally the sound the sound moves all the air throughout the church, and then it reverbs back, and it sort of hangs around, and there's a sort of a meandering about of the sound in the middle of the church, and that's not the case there. It fires all the way to the front of the church, and then all the way back, and then stays at the back of the church. It's really rather weird, in a positive way. Normally you sort of hear the sound bouncing around, but there it just goes fum fum. And yeah, really amazing. One of the things that really impressed me the most, however, is, now I'm used to playing organs where the console is 400 miles away from the pipes. My old church in Bonn, for example, where the mobile console is right at the front of the church, organ is stuck away in the organ loft at the back. And you're playing, it takes you a good 10-15 minutes to get your head round the delay, and then just eventually everything fits into place, yeah? But here in Kevelaer, it's a similar distance between the organ and the console, but it was instantaneous. There was hardly any delay at all. It was really quite amazing. That took no time to get used to, and that really impressed me. Something else that did very much impress me is just the general quality of everything there. The church is spotless. The organ was spotless. Everything is just immaculate, and that's wonderful. Really amazing. So yeah, the whole experience was very, very positive. The only negative part of the experience was my cock-up in the evening, or the software cock-up in the evening, which was beyond our control. That was the only negative part of it at all. Or I suppose we didn't have enough time. Maybe that was a negative. But we can go back anytime we want, which is very exciting. Very exciting indeed. Did anyone else have any questions? I didn't spot it. If you had another question, then pop it in the chat again. But I'm not sure anyone else. John is heading on out now. Will you go and head out, John? I'm glad you caught your request in time before you disappeared. Yeah, nice one. Nice one, nice one, nice one. Was there anything else? Any other questions? I cannot remember. I don't think so. If there was, mention it in the old chit chat again and we'll get to it. Wow, well that was that. What an experience. Thumbs up in the chat. Should we do more location live streams? Thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs down would obviously be a no. Did I visit the Candle Church? No, I didn't get to visit the Candle Church. František, yes, thank you. Any requests regarding, any questions regarding Friday night? Yes. Does anyone know when Jiri will release the sample set of Kevelaer? Is this now public knowledge? Obviously it is. Sonos Paradisi is creating a sample set of the organ in Kevelaer, and I hope and pray that the sample set will be as good as the real organ. Oh my goodness me, it had better be. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let's to a different organ. Something I did on Friday night, I played some fun jazzy music at the organ as well, which is perfectly fine. You can do anything you want in the organ, at the organ in Kevelaer. They are very open about these things, which is also very, very positive, because a lot of these places, especially big pilgrimage churches, they are very uppity about the kind of music you can perform there. Later on this year, sorry, I have to have some chocolate. I am absolutely desperate for sugar. They let you play anything. No, later on this year, there's going to be a concert with organ and electric guitar playing pop and jazzy numbers. If you're in the area, just bloody well go. They're open to anything up there, and I think that's wonderful. A request came in the other day from our friend Yellowbird, and Yiri, it's not Jiri, it's Yiri. All right, there we are. Yellowbird came in with a request the other night, and it was this piece of music from Mr. Cole Porter. Cole Porter, that lady over there in the portrait of the lady who we called my great aunt. My grandmother's sister, in other words. She was friends with Cole Porter back in the day, and she told lots of naughty stories about Cole Porter and the things he got up to. This is a very early one from Cole Porter, actually it's not that, no it's not early at all, 1953. That's not early at all for Cole Porter. It sounds like an early one. It's called The Leader of a Big Time Band, and it sounds hopefully something like this. mic on. Yes, the leader of a big time band. Good job I don't swear and burp and fart during my playing, isn't it? Otherwise you'd hear all of that. There was an organist, an old French organist, I won't mention his name, but when he was playing live concerts, he would swear all the time when he made a mistake, very loudly. He was quite deaf when he got old, and he would swear. And not only that, he was an incredible belcher, and he would be playing sort of burp, and he would play very sort of soft, gentle music sometimes, you know, really soft, luscious French romantic style stuff on swell strings and things like this. And you would hear this just amazing barking going on in the background, and this was his stomach doing its thing. Good job I don't do that. The leader of a big time band. Thank you, Yellowbird. I like these crazy ones. And I didn't know that one. That's a Cole Porter one that I really did not know at all. I did play on Friday night. I did play Over the Rainbow using the tinkly little bell sounds. Do we have? Yes, something like it was something like this. Something like that on the organ there, which was rather grand. The thing that was, of course, missing was, you know, a vibraphone effect. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it, if they could install that? Here, Elmar and Co., if you're listening, how about a vibraphone effect on the Celeste up in Kevelaer? Oh, that would be rather good fun. Take your partners, please, for the waltz. Over the Waves. Did anyone know what that's actually called? Over the Waves. Somewhere over the event horizon. Over the Waves, that one is called. Not Over the Rainbow. There you are. Bonsai Horn is off as well again. Well, you go and have a shower if that's the case. Oh, you mean you're leaving. Got far too little sleep last week. Tell me about it. I've had far too little sleep for the past 3.5 years. Just wanted to say hello. Hello. Have a good week. And those of you who do get a free day on Ascension Day in Germany and Switzerland, enjoy. Haha! I have a completely free week, apart from Tuesday evening. I don't have a church service on Thursday for Ascension Day, and I don't have a church service next Saturday because there is no service in church. Sorry, that was naughty, wasn't it, to say that? Yes. No, there's no service because we are one priest down at the moment and we don't have enough folks to cover. There we are. Here's a piece of music called Tiramisu. Oops, mic was still on. It's a pain in the butt doing it this way. I really need to get that fixed. Pick Yourself Up, that one was called. Yeah, nice one. 10 to 12, ladies and gentlemen. I'm probably going to finish early tonight because it's been a very, 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 very long weekend with not very much sleep at all. And you know how it is. And yes, so we'll probably do 2 more. And we'll be done. There's a couple of extra ticks have arrived. Who was that? Let's have a look. Jez! Hello, Jez. Thank you very much, Jez. And Jan as well. Oh, is Jan going to be the last? Jan's always the last. Is Jan going to be the last? Don't make Jan the last person to send in a ticket for this evening. Let's see what can happen. Here, 27 tickets on Friday. We almost hit our jackpot. And here we are at 13 tonight. Where can we get to tonight? Let's find out. Let's find out. Here's a piece of music from Horace Silver, believe it or not. Everyone thinks it's from Jimmy Smith because he recorded the most famous version of it. By the way, this tonight, I've actually got the bottle with me as I opened it up here. Reach. Oh, bloody hell. There we go. Fall off. Check that out. Isn't that a beautiful bottle? Look at that. Gebrüder Simon. Beautiful, beautiful winemakers from this part of Germany. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. And this is the dry Riesling, a Riesling Trocken. And it's very dry for a Riesling. It tastes, it's quite diesely, but it's not like a diesel wine from the Alsace region, one of those diesel Rieslings from down there. But it's pretty good. It's got the colour too, hasn't it? It's nice. Ooh. And it's doing some beautiful things inside my mind tonight. It's the first booze I've had for a couple of weeks. And my, I'm enjoying it. Yes, Horace Silver wrote this, not Jimmy Smith, and it's a grand tune. There's an absolutely beautiful counter melody that a few bands play. I can highly recommend listening to the Quincy Jones Orchestra version of this piece. When we're finished tonight, go and look up the Quincy Jones version of this. It's quite simply called The Preacher. Xing Shang Shang, yes, thank you very much for the old joke. Julian, have you never had a German or a French dry Riesling before? They taste like you imagine diesel would taste like. You know what diesel smells like? Well, yeah, it's got that sort of oily sort of taste to it, some of those Rieslings. This is not one of them. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely lovely. It is dry as a fart, though, but it's lovely. I'll turn the microphone off now. Maybe I'll enjoy a good belch in a minute. The Preacher. Preacher. 2 minutes to midnight. Let's finish things up with a fast and furious version of the Bye-Bye Blues, which we have to do. See you on Friday. Everyone's saying see you on Friday already. All right, well, see you on Friday then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for chipping in, everybody. And did we make... No, we're still on 13. Come on, that's an unlucky number. Someone make it 14 at least. Let's not finish on an unlucky number. Night, night, everybody. Have a wonderful start to your week, and we'll see you at the very latest on Friday. Haha, bye-bye.